And, man, I just felt it coming because from round one, like, Tank was throwing that long lead uppercut that he does. And when it landed, bro, you saw me. Like, I stood up, and I'm, like, not even excited. I'm just like, you okay, man? Are you okay? You okay? It doesn't excite me when a dude gets knocked out like that. I love seeing a knockout. It's very exciting, but not like that, man. It's still a sport at the end of the day, and these are still gentlemen fighting, man. It was tough to see.
Yeah, you don't want to see somebody's leg folded behind him. His head bounced off the turnbuckle, then bounced off the canvas. He was breathing super fast, which means he's knocked out basically because the mouthpiece is messing his breathing up. It was just, it was horrific. And yeah, you called it more than I did. I mean, I switched my prediction last week to Tank in the late rounds. He got to him earlier, but I mean, I got a question for Leo. How does he sit down with balls that big, man? That boy, he knew from the jump, hey, I'm not going to be able to outbox this guy. I'm not going to be able to keep him at distance. He only had 1.5 inches on the reach. He doesn't have the hand speed that Tank has. He doesn't have lateral quickness Tank has. So he knew, if I'm going to win this fight, I got to just go in there and throw as many punches as I can and try to get him off his rhythm and hope for the best. And unfortunately, what I saw at least, was a better defensive Tank than I remember.
Yeah.
He was slipping those punches really well. Nothing was landing clean. Either he was backing out already or he was slipping to the side and it was grazing off of him. And then he was just following through. Yeah. Once he got hit by the punch or he dodged it, he was coming through with those uppercuts. Oof. And those shovel hooks, man. And for people that don't know what a shovel hook is like a weird hybrid of a uppercut and a hook, where it starts off like an uppercut, but it comes from like a diagonal. So it comes from like a weird ass angle. Yeah. Like that? Yeah, so it comes from like a 45-degree angle sometimes or less. So it's just a weird angle for a punch to come from. I think, and Leo, like you said, Leo was catching a lot of the punches, but when somebody punches that damn hard, it don't matter, man.
That was going to be my question to you, okay? So how to stop that punch, because you don't see it in boxing. It's so hard to do with accuracy, with speed and timing. Leo was doing a great job at blocking it, and I feel like that was their game plan, and it was working okay for the first few rounds, but he was like, that's so risky to try to catch it right here because inevitably it's going to slip here or slip here. So if your block is here, is there any other way to block this punch? And I'm asking.
Block it? No.
Sorry, to avoid it.
Other than backing up, but a lot of times Leo's back was on the ropes. That's how he got knocked out. Right. Because the only way to dodge that punch is to back straight up, but you can't do that if you're up against the ropes. And Tank even said it. He was like, when I threw that punch, I knew there was no escape for Leo except to go left, and he had already overcommitted to leaning right when he threw that right hand. Yeah. So there was nowhere for him to go but to eat it. Yeah,
and correct me if I'm wrong, but I was watching the post-fight interview, and Tank was saying how he felt like I was hurting him, and I felt that I was hurting him, and I knew it was coming, and I was digging so much to the body at first, so I knew once I got there, he was going to miss that block and just it connected so thoroughly.
And that's what I was telling you earlier in the fight. I was like, man, Tank is really digging to that body, and like a lot of people don't realize, if you're a casual fan, you just think, oh, it got blocked, he's fine. After a while, that shit hurt your arms.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the times what they do is they'll put the person blocking the shot will drop their arm even further and tense up even more. So now you can't throw a comeback punch as hard because you're tensed up and worried about what's coming back. And eventually your arms just get tired.
That's right.
And when somebody punches that hard, it just wore him out, I felt like.
It's insane power, dude. And look, I love what you said about Leo, too, because, man, every fighter says, I'm going out on my shield, man. They're going to have to carry me out of here, blah, 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 blah. Daniel Jacobs, even Canelo, everybody every fighter out there in the world that I could pretty much mention, like I've seen that moment in a fight where they're losing and they're like, well, I'm just going to try to get out of here and not get embarrassed.
Yeah.
Leo, some people may think it's embarrassing. A fight fan like me, and I'm sure you, I'm like, dude, all respect to you, man, because you really were like, okay, I'm not going to beat this dude with skill. I'm going to just try to do it. It didn't work out in your favor, but, bro, all respect in the world. I'll always watch every fight that you're in, man.
Yeah, and to those people that say, oh, well, what was he doing in there? What was his alternative?
Right.
He tried to outbox him. Tank kept slipping his punches and getting inside anyway. The volume stuff wasn't working.
Wait, what was he doing in there? As in, why are you in the ring with Tank, or what are you doing?
No, what I saw online was like, why did Leo stand toe-to-toe with Tank?
The fuck else is he supposed to do?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what was the alternative? You're slower.
Right.
You barely have a reach advantage. It wasn't that big of a reach advantage.
You don't punch harder.
Yeah. The only way you can beat him is to stand in the phone booth and try to tire him out and work volume.
Right.
And hope in the late rounds he wears down and those punches don't hurt as much.
Yeah.
But there really wasn't a lot of avenues for victory, and that's why I had to switch my prediction. Once I saw Tank was locked in, it was a wrap.
Yeah,
He's just too dynamic, too explosive. Now he's got Mayweather teaching him technique. And a funny thing, I saw a video from Tank's camp where he was actually practicing the exact punch. Slipping the right and coming up with the uppercut. And it was like picture perfect. It looked like the same exact thing we saw on Saturday night was what he had been practicing.
It was such a beautiful punch, man. Tank had a damn near flawless performance, man. All respect to him. He came with a game plan, and I don't know if it was just for this fight, but man, he seemed mature. He seemed more mature, I should say. The way he was talking about him, and I love a humble dude just off the back, man. The way he like cared about Leo after he was knocked down, like dude jumped on the ropes and was super excited. But when he looked back and saw that Leo was still on the ground, he was like, oh shit, and like went to go check on him. Even I don't know if it was Instagram or Twitter, but they were writing each other back saying like, I'm glad you're okay, and Leo with all like congratulating him and saying he pulled off a great fight and had a great game plan. That's what a true warrior does versus Fury, who, oh man, the suit that I came out with was too heavy, it drained my legs, and the gloves were loaded. I'm sorry, Wilder.
Yeah,
and like, dude, take the loss. Like, man, you talk all this shit, and now you're scared because people are talking bad about you. Now take the loss, man. Be like Leo and say the dude had a great game plan. He won the fight. He was the better man today.
Wilder's now claiming his trainer poisoned his water. What?
Is that true?
What?
No. No. I mean, like, are people saying that? I didn't hear that part.
I mean, that's what he said.
Gloves.
He said that. He said, my trainer, the one who threw in the towel, I feel like he poisoned me because I came out and I had no energy. Why? Why would he? What?
And, bro, when he threw in that towel, man, look, I'm an actor, man. I could tell when people are lying. I could tell when people are trying to, like, put on a show. Fury he tried to act, man, why you throwing in towel? Why you doing that? Sorry, damn it. Wilder was like, why you doing that? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, you wanted him to stop it. You were so happy that he stopped
He's trying to save you, bro.
Yes.
He's trying to save you so you don't get bleeding on your brain. Which, quick side note, my thoughts and prayers with Alex Salcedo. We talked about him eating all those punches last podcast, and I said that's how you get bleeding on the brain, and unfortunately he did get bleeding on the brain. 2 different spots. He had to retire from the sport. Wish him a speedy recovery. Hope everything works out. It's just tough to see. I think he's in his late 20s, early 30s.
See, man, we were watching that fight live, and all of us were like, man, this shit has to stop, man. You got to do some defense. You got to back up. You got to do something. All this, like, I don't know, is he Mexican?
Aztec warrior. Come forward.
There's got to be a new age of it, man. Like I feel like Leo's even that. Even though he got dropped in this fight, Leo still comes with that Aztec warrior mentality, but he still has some slickness to him. He still has some defense, man. Don't stand there with your head on the line and not moving and just try to outpunch somebody, man. That shit's old and it's played out.
And that's one thing I respect about Canelo. Like, I'm not his biggest fan anymore, but he does play defense now. He does block punches. He does slip punches. A lot of that I think he learned from Mayweather. Mayweather took him to school
100%.
and basically put the dunce cap on him. He learned, hey, here's how I slip and rip a punch.
100%.
And that's got to go. And Wilder, I was a fan, but I can't get down with this, man. There's a laundry list of excuses you're making now, and some of it did look kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. Fury's glove looked weird. But bro, you just lost. I mean, like, it is what it is. Like, accusing the trainer that brought you into the sport from nothing and brought you all the way up to that level of poisoning your water.
Yeah.
That's where we're going now, and you expect people to be like, yeah, how dare you?
No. Nobody wants to see a crybaby fighter, man. That shit is just weird.
Yeah.
And look, could there be some truth to it? Yeah, because the Fury gloves, whenever you look close, they do look hella weird. They're like hanging off of the wrist. But I'm sorry, bro, but you got to make sure that doesn't happen like beforehand, man. You got to try to make sure the commissioners are on their shit and doing things the right way, because it's just not going to work out in your favor now, bro. You just look like a crybaby.
Yeah, and if that was the only thing he mentioned after the fight, then I'd be like, you should probably look into that. But you talking about the suit you chose to wear where you look like Sub-Zero or Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat that weighed you down. And then you also want to blame your trainer for spiking your... Like,
come on, bro.
which one is it?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Yeah.
It's nothing, okay? Move on.
Yeah.